But first things first, baseball playoffs. Orioles could use a new manager. I don't know if you heard that story lingering over the last couple of weeks. He's Oriole Hall of Famer. He's our colleague on Baltimore Baseball tonight. He's on the Window Nation guest hotline. Let's welcome in Mike Bordick. Bordy, what is up?
Bob, how are you, man?
I was doing all right. I was wishing we had some Chuck Bucks to hang out at Pickles. And
I know, man. I could go for a double bacon burger right now.
Watch you house a burger in about 2.5 seconds, Mike Bordick, that carnivore that he is. Now, the Orioles managerial search is underway, as Mike Elias himself said when he met with the media over a week ago. I saw one, Rich Dubroff, BaltimoreBaseball.com is writing about it, where Ryan Flaherty is an odds leader in one capacity. David Ross is another guy whose names have been brought up, even though he had actively said he wouldn't mind that Atlanta job. What kind of intel, Mike, are you getting? And what kind of manager do the Orioles need for a team that is still young in a lot of areas, but still coming off a very disappointing season and is expected, and I've been saying it to you and anyone listening, what the Blue Jays are doing this year, the Orioles are doing next year. So who's going to be leading that charge? Who should be?
Yeah, I like it. Well, you know what? There are a couple different ways, obviously, to look at this. I think continuity is going to become really important, especially if it is indeed this young core that tries to lead this team into the postseason. So that said, in my opinion, Mansolino is probably going to be the odds-on favorite. I think it's going to be tough to bring people in because they have to agree exactly with what appears right now with exactly what Mike Elias wants. So if you don't follow that type of protocol and his standard, then you're probably not going to be the manager of the Orioles. Now, that said, if ownership has all of a sudden said, we need a change, I mean, this has to be, we got to start getting some baseball in here, teaching these guys the right way to play situational baseball, where to throw the balls, this and that, then go ahead out there and try to get a more, like a Buck Showalter type of personality, somebody that's going to pay attention to the actual detail of baseball and not just follow the minutia of analytics. So, I guess we're going to find out. I tend to think that it's going to just fall right back in Mansolino's favor.
Now, keep your Mike Elias hat on, Mike Bordick. And one guy in particular, when you look at arbitration figures and do you tender him or not, is Ryan Mountcastle. He's due to make, according to MLB trade rumors, $1 million raise going into 2026. And you and I have discussed, Kobe Mayo had a really good September. Could it be an attractive trade piece along with insert prospect here to get a starting pitcher? I mean, Pablo Lopez could be available in Minnesota, apparently, among others. What do you do with Mountie and what do you do with Mayo?
Yeah, one of those guys is going to get traded, okay? Either they're going to trade Mountcastle just because of the increase in salary and say, no, we're just going to run with the young guys. We got too many first basemen as it is. Basayo's going to play first, Rutschman probably, and Mayo. And so they take the chance that way. Or they try to, if somebody comes in and says, yeah, we'll take Mayo. For sure, we think we can project out on him and really think he's going to be a power hitter, and maybe that will help the value in a potential trade. But one of those two guys is definitely gone, just because they're running out of room. And we've seen what's happened when, some of their younger players kind of don't get those opportunities. And maybe that last month of the season was enough for them to believe in Mayo and think that he can be a consistent offensive contributor next year. I don't quite see that just yet, and I don't quite see that consistency with a lot of their young offensive players right now. But, if they were going to trade, one of those guys, it wouldn't bother me as long as it's getting a pitcher back in return.
Oriole Hall of Famer Mike Bordick joining us. Vinny Haynie, 105.7 The Fan. All right, let's get to the playoffs. Yankees are done. Game 4 last night. Mike, your thoughts on the way John Schneider, and, Mike did play for Toronto during his career. The way he handled things, he walked Judge, with an out in the inning. He manipulated the bullpen brilliantly. I thought, what about Schneider and the job he did navigating Toronto through the Yankees and in the Bronx in particular there?
Oh, man. Schneider's up there. It seems like he's always anxious and nervous, and I love him, too. I knew him when I was in that organization as an infield coordinator as well. He pressed the right buttons, that's for sure. But I will say this about this Toronto team, and it's something that, it gets brought up only in the postseason. They make more contact than their opposition. They put the ball in play and put pressure on the opposing team's defense. It isn't about exit velocity. It's about put the ball in play and let's try to scratch out some runs, and they're winning with that formula. I was really surprised that their bullpen stepped up the way it did in yesterday's ball game, but I don't think the Yankees are all that either. Every year they're hyped as the best team, all the offensive numbers, but they don't play baseball. They just, you can tell everybody that they're going to win 93 games, they're going to hit 250 home runs, but they never go anywhere after that. They don't play the game, man, especially playoff baseball. Man, you got to put the ball in play. You better be able to know how to bunt, and you better be able to know how to defend a bunt. And we've seen it a couple times with some of the more successful teams. The Blue Jays put immediate pressure on an opposing team and the pitchers. Very frustrating team to face. And, of course, they have the power threats in there as well. So, this is a team that's on a nice little roll. If their pitching continues to step up, who knows with the Blue Jays, man. We see it when teams get hot and they believe in themselves, they can make a nice run.
Hey, Bordy, what do you think about Cubs, Brewers, and the Dodgers and the Phillies? Who's going to win those deciding games?
Yeah, well, I think we're all kind of fans of the Brewers. Yep. They get rid of everybody, yet they're playing baseball the right way, and that's another kind of thing. You believe in yourself, you execute the game the way it's supposed to be played, and you have success. And that group right now is believing in themselves as well as any team in baseball, I think. So I think they're going to be a tough team to beat. I still think the Dodgers are the team. Just because they match up so well now. They've got so many arms. I was a little surprised that the Phillies bats woke up. I mean, Schwarbino or whatever the heck you want to call him, man, he was like 0 for 20 coming into that game and then hits 2 home runs, right? So if you wake those guys up, watch out. So the Dodgers better be on their game tonight and pitch, a little bit better. So that's what it's going to take. But I think the Dodgers are a strong team. And but when they match up with the Brewers, in my heart, I'm pulling for the Brewers, man, because listen, we all want to see good baseball. Play the game the right way, and you should be rewarded for it.
Bordy, who's going to be playing Toronto in the ALCS real quick?
Woo, man, oh, man. I am so happy for Detroit because the first half of the season, best team in baseball, hands down, right?
Yep.
They were cooking, and next thing you know, like every team, they just turned and couldn't get it back together again. And just a lot of sputtering offensive players. They're kind of righting the ship right now. And this game with the Mariners and Scooble on the bump for Detroit is a marquee game, right? Because I love the fact that the Mariners haven't even been to a World Series, so you got to kind of root for them. But Detroit, they still have great legacy. Hinch is a proven manager, and I think this is just going to be a marquee game for not only Scooble's career, but I think for Detroit to take the next step. So I think the Blue Jays are going to be playing Detroit.
He's Oriole Hall of Famer Mike Bordick. Bordy, always great to talk to you. Enjoy the games this weekend, and we'll catch up with you next week. And by then, maybe the Orioles will have a manager, because if it's not done by the World Series, don't they kind of tell you to wait until after the World Series to make these sort of announcements?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Man, oh, man, let's go. We can't wait. We got to get going, guys. We got to go.
All right, Bordy, we'll talk to you, brother. There's Mike Bordick, everybody. By the way, the wild card ratings for baseball up 64% from last year.
Why do you think?
Boston played New York.
Oh, okay.
There you go. And then you got Philly and Dodgers now, so that's going to be moving the needle ratings-wise. So it's good baseball getting some, good luck finding what channel the games are on. It's like the NCAA tournament.